Hello, and welcome to Sleepy Science by Nem Vita. Whether you're listening at the end of a long day or simply letting your thoughts slow down, this is a place where curiosity unfolds gently. There's nothing you need to solve, nothing you need to remember, and nothing you need to focus on. If you find your attention drifting, that's perfectly fine. Let the words become a soft background, and let your body settle into rest. Allow your breathing to soften, slow down, and become quiet, steady, and easy. I'm glad you're here. As we rest in this quieter rhythm, it can feel comforting to notice the simple idea of ground beneath us. Even without thinking about it directly, there is a sense of support that never leaves. The surface below has been here far longer than any moment we can remember, holding its shape through countless nights like this one. There is no need to picture it clearly. Just the feeling of steadiness is enough. When the mind slows, certain thoughts become softer to hold. Earth is one of those thoughts, not as a planet rushing through space or a place of dramatic events, but as something patient and constant. Long before names or stories, before memory itself, this ground was already forming, already settling into its role. Nothing about it needed to happen quickly. Time was never in short supply. It can be reassuring to know that Earth did not arrive all at once. It gathered itself slowly, piece by piece, over spans of time so long they no longer feel like numbers. Small fragments drifted, met, and stayed together, guided by gentle attraction rather than force. There was no single moment that mattered more than another. What mattered was continuity, the quiet persistence of material finding its place. If your attention wanders as you listen, that's perfectly fine. The story doesn't depend on holding every detail. Earth itself formed without awareness, without intention, simply by continuing. In the same way, you can let these words pass by without effort. Nothing is required of you. As the early Earth took shape, it was not yet the calm surface we know. It was warmer, softer, more fluid. But even then, change happened gradually. Heat moved through stone at its own pace. Surfaces shifted and settled, again and again, without urgency. This was not chaos. It was adjustment. A body learning how to exist. There is a sense of safety in knowing that even when Earth was different, it was never unstable in the way we might imagine. Gravity held it. Motion followed predictable paths. Patterns began forming long before they were visible. The planet was already practicing balance, even while still becoming itself. You don't need to picture fire or movement clearly. Those images can fade into the background. What matters is the feeling of slowness. Nothing rushed, nothing demanded attention. Earth had time to experiment, to cool, to reshape, to pause. And pause again. Over immense stretches of time, surfaces thickened and softened, cracked and reformed. Each change was small compared to the whole. Each moment blended into the next so smoothly that no clear boundary existed between one state and another. This is how Earth has always worked. Not in sharp lines, but in gentle transitions. It can be comforting to realize that the ground beneath you now is part of this same continuity. The rock, the soil, the minerals all carry memory. Not as stories, but as presence. They remain steady because they have always been allowed to move slowly enough to settle. As you rest, Earth continues doing what it has always done, cooling, adjusting, holding its shape without effort. There is nothing fragile about this process. It has endured through timescales that make worry feel very small. You are safe within something that understands patience better than anything else we know. And as this sense of steadiness settles in, there is no need to stay alert. The planet does not hurry, and neither do you. The story continues whether you follow it closely or not. Earth keeps becoming, quietly, just as it always has. In moments like this, when everything feels slower, it becomes easier to imagine beginnings that were not dramatic. Earth did not arrive with noise or sudden shape. It began as something incomplete, something quietly collecting itself over time. There was no clear starting point to mark, only a gradual coming together that unfolded without awareness or urgency. Long before there was a surface to stand on, material drifted through space in no particular hurry. Fine dust, small fragments of stone, heavier pieces moving in wide, gentle paths. They did not rush toward one another. They met slowly, guided by attraction so subtle it felt almost like stillness. Each meeting added a little more weight, a little more presence, and then continued on. There is comfort in knowing that Earth was never required to be finished. It was allowed to be unfinished for a very long time. Nothing demanded completion. Nothing insisted on speed. The planet formed the way rest forms, gradually, without instruction, without effort, simply by continuing. If your thoughts soften or drift while listening, that's perfectly fine. Earth itself gathered without attention. No one was watching. No moment needed to be remembered. The process worked because it was patient, not because it was precise. As material continued to collect, the growing Earth remained simple. No continents, no oceans, no sky, just mass becoming slightly more whole with each quiet addition. Gravity deepened, not suddenly, but in small increments that felt almost unnoticeable. With each change, the planet became a little more stable, a little more settled into its path. It can be reassuring to think of gravity here not as force, but as consistency, a steady preference for closeness, a tendency for things to remain together once they meet. This consistency allowed Earth to keep what it gathered, to hold itself gently even while still incomplete. Over time, motion became smoother, orbits steadied, paths repeated, patterns began forming without needing to be planned. This is how structure emerges in nature, not by design but by repetition, not by command but by calm persistence. There is no need to imagine collisions or violence. Those images belong to faster stories. This one moves differently. Earth gathered itself the way a breath deepens during sleep, gradually, naturally, without instruction. Nothing needed to be pushed. As mass increased, warmth slowly followed, not as fire, but as retained energy held quietly within. This warmth was not dangerous or chaotic. It was simply part of becoming more complete. The planet was learning how to hold what it had gathered. You don't need to hold on to these ideas closely. They can pass through like background sound. Earth itself did not focus on becoming a planet. It simply continued gathering, moment after moment, until gathering became stability. Even now, as you rest, this same principle remains. Things become whole by staying, by not rushing away, by allowing time to do its quiet work. Earth did this long before there was life to notice it. The planet you know today carries this memory, not as history, but as structure. Its steadiness comes from having been allowed to form slowly. Nothing about it was forced into place. Everything arrived when it was ready. And as this sense of gradual becoming settles in, there is nothing you need to keep track of. Earth gathered itself without effort, and the story continues whether you remain awake or drift gently away. As the planet continued to gather itself, there came a time when holding material also meant holding warmth. Not heat in a sharp or alarming sense, but a quiet presence carried deep within. The early Earth was not rigid or fixed. It was softer in its behavior, more willing to shift, more open to slow motion beneath its surface. In this warmer state, stone did not behave the way we know it now. Rock flowed gently over long spans of time, responding to pressure the way thick liquid responds to a steady hand. Nothing snapped into place. Nothing broke suddenly. Movement was constant, but so slow it felt almost like rest. It can be comforting to think of motion without disturbance. Even when Earth was changing, it was not unstable. Heat moved gradually. Material adjusted patiently. The planet was not rushing toward a final form. It was simply exploring what balance felt like under new conditions. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth itself did not keep track of its own changes. It did not observe its warmth or notice its movement. It simply continued, responding quietly to the conditions it carried within. Beneath the surface, layers shifted and pressed against one another. Heavier materials settled inward. Lighter materials lingered closer to the outside. This sorting happened without direction, guided only by consistency and time. Nothing needed to be corrected. The process refined itself naturally. There is a sense of reassurance in knowing that even in this warmer, more fluid phase, Earth remained predictable. Patterns formed slowly, motions repeated. Energy moved along paths that felt familiar once established. This repetition is what allowed the planet to calm itself over time. You don't need to imagine glowing surfaces or dramatic scenes. Those images can soften and fade. What matters is the feeling of slow adjustment. A world reshaping itself gently, without interruption, without resistance. As heat moved through the planet, it did not seek escape. It spread, balanced, and gradually diminished. This was not loss, it was settling. The planet was learning how to hold itself in a way that would last. Even now, deep beneath your feet, warmth still moves through Earth in this same patient way. The motion has never stopped. It has only slowed, refined, and found quieter paths. The planet remembers how to move without urgency. There is safety in this continuity. Earth has always known how to change without harm. It has always understood that adjustment does not require force, only time. As you rest, this slow inner motion continues far below, steady and contained. You are supported by a world that learned very early on how to carry heat, stone, and motion without disturbance. And that quiet knowledge remains, unchanged, as the story moves on. As time continued its unbroken flow, the warmth held within Earth began to change its relationship with the surface. Nothing ended. Nothing abruptly shifted. Cooling arrived the way night arrives after evening, slowly, almost without being noticed. the planet did not lose its warmth all at once. It learned how to keep it deeper inside. The outer layers of Earth began to respond first. Stone that had once behaved softly started to hold its shape a little longer. Surfaces lingered before moving again. This was not stillness, but a new kind of patience. The surface was learning how to rest. There is something calming about this phase of Earth's story. Cooling was not a struggle against heat. It was a gentle redistribution. Energy moved inward. The outer skin of the planet thickened gradually, like a blanket forming stitch by stitch. No single layer mattered more than another. Each contributed quietly to stability. If your thoughts drift here, that's perfectly fine. This part of the story does not require attention. Earth did not watch itself cool. It did not measure progress. It simply allowed change to unfold at its natural pace. Over long spans of time, the surface cracked, sealed, and reformed. These were not sharp breaks, but slow adjustments. Where one layer cooled, another responded beneath it. Balance was never fixed, only maintained through continuous small changes. It can be reassuring to know that Earth did not become solid in a single moment. Solidity arrived gradually, in stages that blended into one another. There was always movement somewhere, even as the surface learned how to remain. As cooling continued, the surface became more reliable, not rigid but dependable. It could support its own shape while still allowing deeper motion below. This layered calm is something Earth has carried ever since. You don't need to imagine precise temperatures or timelines. Those details can soften and fade. What matters is the feeling of gradual settling, a planet learning how to be firm without becoming brittle. Even now, the Earth beneath you holds this memory. The ground feels steady because it was allowed to cool slowly enough to find balance. Rushing would have fractured it. Patience made it strong. As you rest, Earth continues this same process in quiet ways. Heat still moves inward. Surfaces still adjust. Nothing is frozen in place. Stability is maintained not by stopping, but by changing gently. There is safety in knowing that the ground beneath you has practiced this for billions of years. Cooling, adjusting, holding, not once, but continuously. And as this calm settles in, there is nothing you need to follow closely. The surface rests. You can too. As the surface of Earth continued to cool, something subtle began to change in the space above it. The air, still heavy and unfamiliar, carried more than heat. It carried possibility. Not in any dramatic sense, but in the quiet way conditions slowly align when nothing is rushed. Water did not arrive suddenly. It did not pour down in a single moment that transformed everything at once. It appeared gradually, almost cautiously, as vapor lingering in the atmosphere began to condense. Tiny droplets formed, disappeared, and formed again. This cycle repeated over long stretches of time, until remaining became easier than leaving. Rain began not as storms, but as persistence. Gentle, repeated falling that asked nothing of the surface except patience. Drops met warm stone, cooled it further, and returned again and again. Over time, the surface learned how to receive this presence. Depressions held moisture a little longer. Low places collected more than high ones. Nothing forced this arrangement. Gravity and time handled it quietly. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Water itself arrived without witnesses. No awareness marked the first moments it stayed. The process worked because it was allowed to repeat endlessly without needing recognition. As rain continued, water gathered. Small pools became larger ones. Shallow basins deepened slowly, not by digging, but by accumulation. The surface yielded where it needed to and remained firm where it could. This cooperation between stone and water shaped the planet gently, without conflict. There is a calming balance in this relationship. Water did not overpower Earth. Earth did not resist water. Each adjusted to the other through repetition. Flow found paths. Stone softened edges. Together they created stability through motion rather than stillness. Over immense spans of time, these collected waters grew into vast connected bodies. Oceans were not formed in an instant. They emerged through patience, layer by layer, rainfall by rainfall. Their presence brought steadiness, absorbing heat, smoothing extremes, and offering the planet a quieter rhythm. You don't need to imagine waves or horizons. Those images can remain distant. What matters is the sense of cooling, of settling, of a surface finally able to hold what arrives without losing its shape. Even now, water continues this role. It moderates, carries, and reshapes without urgency. The oceans you know today are part of the same gentle process that began when Earth first learned how to let rain stay. There is safety in this continuity. Water has always known how to move without harm when given enough time. And as this thought softens, there is nothing you need to keep track of. The rain falls, the surface holds, the planet rests in balance, and you can rest with it. As water settled into place and the surface grew quieter, the space surrounding Earth began to change in its own unhurried way. The air was not yet what we would recognize, but it was becoming something steadier. Gases released from deep within the planet rose slowly and remained, forming a loose envelope that lingered instead of drifting away. This early atmosphere was not thin or fragile. It was dense and heavy, resting close to the surface like a soft covering. It did not move quickly. It shifted and circulated with patience, guided by warmth from below and cooling from above. The planet was beginning to hold itself not just through stone and water, but through air as well. There is something calming about this stage of Earth's story. Breathing, in this sense, was not a sharp exchange. It was a slow circulation. Gases moved upward, spread, cooled, and settled again. Nothing was expelled suddenly. Nothing rushed outward. The atmosphere learned how to stay. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth did not need to be aware of its own breath. The process unfolded without observation, without direction, simply through continuation. What remained, remained because conditions allowed it to. Over time, this surrounding layer became more consistent. Pressure evened out. Temperatures softened. The atmosphere began to act as a buffer, protecting the surface from extremes and allowing water to remain liquid for longer periods. This was not an achievement. It was a quiet adjustment, refined through repetition. You don't need to imagine clouds or winds clearly. Those details can fade into the background. What matters is the feeling of enclosure. Earth was no longer exposed. It was wrapped gently in its own presence, held by a layer that moved slowly and reliably. As gases continued to circulate, chemical balances shifted gradually. Some elements became more common, others diminished. These changes happened without intention, guided only by consistency and time. The atmosphere was not designed, it was shaped. There is reassurance in knowing that Earth learned how to breathe without effort. It did not struggle for balance. It found it by allowing change to happen slowly enough to settle. This breathing was not rhythmic like ours. It was vast and continuous, unfolding across millions of years. Even now, the air around you carries this same memory. Every breath is part of a system that learned how to exist gently, without urgency. The atmosphere still circulates, still adjusts, still protects, just as it began to do long ago. As you rest, Earth continues this quiet breathing. Gases rise and fall, heat moves, balance holds. There is nothing fragile about this process. It has endured through deep time, steady and forgiving. And as this calm settles in, you can allow your own breathing to soften, knowing the planet has practiced this patience far longer than we ever could. As the ocean settled and the air became more consistent, the surface of Earth continued its quiet work. It may have looked still from a distance, but it was never truly motionless. Beneath the cooled crust, warmth remained, moving slowly and steadily through deeper layers. And that gentle inner motion began to influence the surface in a way that would shape the planet for the rest of its long life. The outer shell of Earth did not behave like one unbroken piece. Over time, it formed into broad sections, thick slabs of stone that could shift without shattering the whole. These plates did not slide quickly. They moved at a pace so slow it could be mistaken for stillness. A few centimeters each year, sometimes less, continuing without interruption across millions of years. There is something soothing about movement that does not demand attention. Plate motion is like that. It is constant, but never urgent. It does not rush toward a conclusion. It simply continues, guided by the quiet flow of heat below and the steady pull of gravity above. If your thoughts drift away here, that's perfectly fine. You do not need to hold the details. Earth itself doesn't keep track of its movement in the way we do. It doesn't count years. It doesn't mark distances. The plates shift because shifting is what happens when warmth moves through stone over a long time. As plates drift, they carry the surface with them. What we would later call continents are not fixed anchors. They are travelers, floating on deeper layers that behave slowly, like thickened fluid. Sometimes plates move apart, opening space where new crust can form. Sometimes they press together, folding and lifting the edges. Sometimes one plate slides beneath another, sinking gradually into the depths. Each of these motions happens without drama when viewed on the scale it truly belongs to. You don't need to imagine sudden cracks or violent upheaval. Those images belong to shorter moments. The deeper truth is quieter. Earth changes through persistence. Pressure builds slowly, releases slowly, and then builds again. This is not instability. It is the planet's way of staying balanced while still moving. Over long eras, these drifting plates reshape coastlines, create basins, and redirect the flow of water. They help determine where mountains will rise, and where plains will settle. They influence how the oceans circulate and how the air moves above them. Yet all of this happens in a way that is gentle when viewed from the right distance, like the slow rearranging of a sleeping body finding a comfortable position. Even now, this motion continues beneath you. The ground feels steady because the movement is so slow it rarely disturbs daily life. Earth has learned how to move without shaking itself apart. It has practiced this for so long that motion and stability now exist together. There is reassurance in knowing you are resting on a world that can change while remaining safe. The plates drift, the planet adjusts, the oceans hold their calm, and you can let your attention soften, trusting that Earth's slow motion is not something to worry about, but something that has always been quietly caring for balance. As the stone plates continued their patient movement, some of their paths gently met. When they did, the surface did not react with sudden force. There were no instant peaks or sharp edges. Pressure accumulated slowly, almost imperceptibly, as layers pressed together year after year, century after century, without pause. Mountains did not rise the way we often imagine. They were not pushed upward in dramatic moments. They emerged through persistence. Stone folded slightly, then held that fold. Pressure returned, deepened it, and held again. Over immense spans of time, what began as a subtle bend became a long ridge, and what was once flat became gently elevated. There is something deeply calming about this process. Mountains are not monuments to speed. They are records of patience. Their height reflects not force, but endurance. The land was never in a hurry to become tall. It was allowed to arrive there slowly. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth itself did not watch mountains form. It did not mark progress or notice milestones. The land rose because it remained under pressure long enough for change to settle in place. As layers thickened and lifted, erosion began its quiet work alongside uplift. Wind brushed exposed stone. Water traced faint paths downward. Ice pressed gently during colder periods. These forces did not oppose mountain building. They balanced it, smoothing edges as they rose, keeping shapes rounded rather than sharp. You don't need to imagine towering cliffs or jagged peaks. Those details can soften. What matters is the sense of gradual elevation, a surface slowly adjusting upward while being gently reshaped at the same time, creation and softening happening together. Over time, mountain ranges stretched across continents, guiding rivers, influencing weather, and shaping how water moved toward the oceans. Yet even these wide-reaching effects unfolded calmly. Nothing demanded immediate change. The planet adjusted one quiet moment at a time. There is reassurance in knowing that some of the most solid features of Earth formed without urgency. Mountains feel permanent because they were never rushed. Their strength comes from time spent under steady pressure, not from sudden force. Even now, mountains continue to change. Some still rise a little each year. Others slowly wear down. Both movements are part of the same patient rhythm. Height is never fixed. It is negotiated continuously between uplift and erosion. As you rest, these slow negotiations continue far beyond awareness. Stone presses, stone yields, wind and water smooth, balance holds. You are supported by a landscape shaped through calm persistence, a reminder that strength does not need speed and change does not need urgency. As mountains slowly rose, another process continued beside them, never competing, never rushing. Erosion did not arrive as a force meant to undo what had formed. It moved quietly, patiently, shaping the surface through repetition rather than intensity. Where stone lifted, erosion softened. Where pressure built, erosion listened and responded over time. Wind passed over exposed surfaces again and again, not carving in a single moment, but smoothing through countless small contacts. Water followed paths of least resistance, tracing lines that deepened slowly, not by cutting sharply, but by returning persistently. Each movement was gentle on its own. Together they reshaped entire landscapes. There is something reassuring about erosion because it never demands change. It waits. It allows the land to decide where it will give a little and where it will remain firm. Nothing is taken all at once. Edges soften gradually. Heights lower over spans so long they feel almost unchanged. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Erosion works best when unnoticed. Earth does not monitor it. It does not intervene. The process unfolds because repetition, given enough time, always leaves a mark. Rain falls. Water moves downhill. Particles shift slightly, then settle again. Rivers widen their paths by fractions, year after year. Valleys deepen without drama. Plains form from material carried gently from higher ground. Nothing about this requires force. Patience does all the work. You don't need to picture rushing rivers or powerful storms. Those images belong to brief moments. The deeper truth is quieter. Most erosion happens when nothing seems to be happening at all. A breeze, a trickle, a freeze and thaw that lifts grains just enough to let them move later. Over immense stretches of time, this gentle touch reshapes entire continents. Sharp peaks become rounded. High plateaus slowly lower. Sediment travels from mountains to oceans, where it settles, layer by layer, creating new surfaces that may one day rise again. There is balance in this exchange. What rises will eventually soften. What wears away becomes part of something new. Earth does not lose material through erosion. It redistributes it. Nothing is wasted. Everything continues in a slow cycle of movement and rest. Even now, erosion is happening beneath open skies and quiet nights. It does not announce itself. It does not hurry. It works in the background, maintaining balance between change and stability. As you rest, this gentle shaping continues far beyond awareness. Wind moves softly. Water flows without effort. Stone yields only when ready. You are held by a planet that understands how to touch itself gently, shaping strength not by force, but by time. As the surface continued to change through lifting and softening, Earth began to settle into patterns that lasted. Not patterns that froze everything in place, but ones that repeated with calm reliability. Temperature, water, air, and stone started to move together in ways that felt steady rather than uncertain. Balance did not arrive suddenly. It emerged quietly through countless small adjustments. The oceans played a central role in this settling. Water absorbed warmth when there was too much and released it slowly when there was less. This gentle exchange smoothed extremes without effort. The planet no longer shifted wildly between conditions. It eased into rhythms that could be maintained over long spans of time. If your attention drifts here, That's perfectly fine. Earth itself did not notice when balance appeared. There was no moment to mark. Stability is not an event. It is something that becomes noticeable only because it continues. Air currents learned how to circulate. Warm air rose, cooler air settled. These movements repeated again and again, forming broad, reliable patterns that guided weather without rushing it. Storms still came and went, but they were part of a larger calm, not disruptions of it. You don't need to imagine complex systems or precise interactions. Those details can soften. What matters is the feeling of consistency. Earth found ways to share energy gently, moving it rather than trapping it, releasing it rather than hoarding it. Land and water responded to each other in quiet cooperation. Rivers carried material from higher ground to lower ground. Coastlines adjusted as seas rose and fell slowly. Ice advanced and retreated over long eras, never all at once, always with time to adjust. There is reassurance in knowing that Earth did not need perfection to find balance. It did not require exact conditions. It only needed time. Given enough repetition, the planet learned how to regulate itself, responding calmly when things shifted too far in one direction. Even now, this balance continues. Temperatures fluctuate, water moves, air circulates, but nothing is truly out of control. The planet absorbs change and redistributes it gently, the way a deep breath settles after being held. As you rest, these steady cycles continue beneath awareness. Oceans move heat, winds flow, surfaces adjust. Earth does not strain to maintain balance. It simply keeps doing what it has practiced for billions of years. You are resting within this balance, supported by a world that learned, slowly and patiently, how to remain steady without becoming rigid. And as this sense of stability settles in, there is nothing you need to follow closely. The planet holds itself. You can let yourself rest as well. As Earth settled into quieter patterns, something else began to unfold within those steady conditions. Not as a sudden spark that changed everything at once, and not as a dramatic moment that demanded attention. Life began in a way that matched the planet itself. Slowly, softly, through small processes repeating until they became dependable. In the early oceans, chemistry had time to linger. Minerals met water. Heat moved gently through the seafloor. Simple compounds formed, separated, and formed again. Nothing needed to be perfect. The planet was not aiming for life. It was simply offering a stable place where reactions could continue long enough to become something more. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. This is not a story of single discoveries or sudden transformation. It is a story of patience. You don't need to hold the details. Life itself began without understanding what it was becoming. In water, molecules can move, meet, and rearrange with ease. Some combinations dissolve quickly. Others last a little longer. Over time, certain patterns repeat, not because they are chosen, but because they happen to be stable in that environment. A stable pattern, repeated enough times, begins to feel like a quiet preference, like a gentle habit. Near warm surfaces, especially around places where the seafloor released heat, gradients formed. Not extreme, not violent, but subtle differences in temperature and chemistry that created natural pathways. Energy moved along these pathways, matter followed. And where energy and matter flow in reliable ways, complexity has room to grow. You don't need to picture strange creatures or unfamiliar shapes. Those came much later. Early life was likely small, simple, almost invisible, a faint persistence, a tiny boundary between inside and outside. A way of holding information in chemistry, not as thoughts, but as repeating structure. There is something calming in how quiet the beginning was. Life did not burst onto the scene. It emerged the way condensation gathers on cool stone, slowly, through steady conditions that allow small changes to remain. As these early forms continued, they altered their surroundings in gentle ways. They used available energy. They released byproducts. They interacted with minerals and water, and these interactions slowly influenced the chemistry of the oceans and the air above. The planet and life began to shape each other without intention, simply by existing together. Even now, this relationship continues. Life is not separate from Earth's cycles. It is woven into them. The air you breathe, the chemistry of oceans, the movement of carbon through soil and stone, all reflect the long partnership between living processes and the planet's steady rhythms. As you rest, you can let this thought remain soft. Life began not as urgency, but as continuity, a quiet persistence allowed by a planet that had already learned balance. And in the same way, you can allow your mind to loosen its grip. Nothing needs to be solved. The story continues gently, whether you follow every word or drift peacefully away. As life continued to exist quietly within Earth's steady patterns, the planet itself began to behave in a way that feels familiar and reassuring, not as something that needed to be controlled, and not as something that required constant correction, but as a system that learned how to respond gently to change. Earth did not become fixed, it became responsive. Rock, water, air, and living processes began to move together in slow conversation. When one element shifted, others adjusted over time. Heat was absorbed, released, and redistributed. Gases moved between ocean and atmosphere. Minerals traveled from stone to water and back again. None of this happened quickly. Balance emerged through patience. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth doesn't concentrate on maintaining itself. It does not monitor its own condition. The system works because it repeats, not because it is watched. Stability is a side effect of continuity. Over long spans of time, feedback loops formed quietly. When temperatures rose, certain processes helped cool the planet. When conditions cooled, other processes gently returned warmth. Ice expanded and reflected light. Oceans absorbed heat. Living organisms altered the chemistry of air and water, not with intention, but through existence. Each action invited a response. Each response softened the next change. You don't need to imagine control or precision. This is not regulation in a mechanical sense. It is closer to the way breathing adjusts naturally during sleep. Faster when needed, slower when calm returns. The planet learned how to settle itself without effort. Water cycles between surface and sky, carrying energy along with it. Carbon moves slowly through rock, ocean, air, and living matter, never staying in one place forever. Nutrients circulate, returning again and again to forms that can be used. Nothing is wasted. Nothing is hurried. There is comfort in knowing that Earth doesn't rely on perfect conditions. It responds to imperfection gently. Change doesn't break the system. It activates it. The planet has experienced extremes many times, and each time it has adjusted, not by force, but by time. Even now, this self-regulation continues quietly. Seasons turn, oceans rise and fall slightly, atmospheres shift, life adapts. Earth does not panic. It absorbs change slowly, allowing space for balance to return. As you rest, these deep cycles continue without interruption. They do not require awareness. They do not depend on attention. The planet holds itself through repetition, just as it always has. You are resting within a world that knows how to care for itself over immense spans of time. A world that does not rush toward solutions, but allows them to emerge gently. And as this sense of calm regulation settles in, there is nothing you need to follow closely. The system continues, steady and quiet, whether you remain awake or drift softly into sleep. As all these slow processes continued, the Earth gradually became something that would feel familiar to us. Not suddenly and not completely, but enough that the surface began to resemble the world we recognize today. Continents took on shapes that lingered. Oceans settled into broad basins. Air, water, and land moved together in patterns that repeated often enough to feel dependable. This familiarity does not mean that change stopped. It means that change learned how to happen quietly. The ground beneath your feet feels solid, not because it is frozen in place, but because it has learned how to adjust without disturbance. What feels stable now is simply a moment within a much longer flow. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth doesn't need to be watched in order to continue being what it is. Familiarity itself is something that emerges when processes repeat long enough to feel safe. Soil formed slowly from stone, water, air, and living matter working together over time. Layer by layer, grains accumulated, shifted, and settled. Nothing about soil is rushed. It carries the memory of patience, built from countless small interactions that were allowed to repeat without interruption. Rivers followed paths they had traced gently for ages. Forests rose and fell, came and went, without leaving the planet empty. Ice advanced and retreated during colder periods, then softened again, leaving behind reshaped ground. Each of these changes happened within limits the planet already understood how to manage. You don't need to imagine cities or human presence here. Those details can remain distant. What matters is the feeling of a surface that has become comfortable with itself. A planet that knows how to hold water, support life, and absorb change without losing its balance. Even dramatic features feel calm when seen through deep time. A canyon is not a sudden wound, but the result of steady water moving patiently. A desert is not emptiness, but balance between air, heat, and stone. A forest is not permanence, but a repeating rhythm of growth and rest. There is reassurance in knowing that the earth you walk on is not a finished product. It is an ongoing moment. The familiar world exists because countless changes before it were allowed to settle gently rather than collide. Even now, beneath daily life, the planet continues its quiet work. Plates drift, Mountains rise and soften. Water moves from sea to sky and back again. Soil forms and reforms. Familiarity is maintained not by stopping change, but by allowing it to happen slowly enough to remain gentle. As you rest, you are supported by this familiar ground, shaped through patience rather than force. The earth does not demand awareness to remain steady. It continues whether noticed or not. And as this sense of familiarity settles in, you can allow your own thoughts to soften, knowing that stability does not come from holding still, but from moving gently through time. As the earth settled into forms that feel familiar, time itself continued its quiet passage. Not as something that announced itself, and not as something that needed to be measured, but as a steady presence moving forward without interruption. Change did not pause simply because the world looked recognizable. It continued gently in ways that rarely drew attention. Most of Earth's movement happens without being noticed at all. The ground shifts by distances too small to feel. Coastlines adjust by margins that take generations to observe. Temperatures rise and fall within ranges that allow life to adapt gradually. Nothing asks to be marked as an event. Time moves because it always has. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. This part of the story does not depend on awareness. Time itself does not require witnesses. It passes through rock, water, air, and living systems alike, leaving traces only when looked at from far enough away. Day and night repeat. Seasons turn. Ice expands and retreats slowly across ages. Sediment settles at the bottom of oceans, layer upon layer, building records that remain unread for millions of years. These are not moments of change meant to be felt. They are continuations. You don't need to imagine clocks or timelines. Those ideas can soften and fade. Earth does not count its years. It experiences time as persistence, as the simple fact that processes continue without stopping. Motion happens. Rest happens. Both blend together so smoothly that no clear boundary separates them. Even events we would call dramatic lose their sharpness when seen through deep time. A volcanic eruption becomes a brief release in a much longer cycle of pressure and cooling. A flood becomes one movement in the endless reshaping of land by water. Nothing stands alone long enough to disrupt the larger calm. There is reassurance in knowing that Earth has never depended on urgency. It does not rush toward outcomes. It allows change to arrive when conditions align, and it allows those changes to settle before anything new is asked of the system. Even now, as you rest, time continues its gentle work. The planet moves forward without strain. Processes repeat. Adjustments occur quietly. Nothing about this requires effort. Time does not push, it flows. This quiet continuity is what allows the Earth to feel dependable. Stability is not the absence of change. It is the presence of slow change that never overwhelms. The planet remains calm because it gives itself enough time to respond. As you lie still, you are sharing space with this same unhurried movement. There is no need to follow it closely. You do not need to keep pace. Time will continue whether you are awake or asleep, attentive or drifting. And as this thought settles, you can allow yourself to release the need to notice anything at all. The Earth moves on without being noticed, and you are free to rest within that gentle, uninterrupted flow. As the story of Earth continues without pause, it becomes easier to sense how small any single moment really is. Not small in a diminishing way, but small in a comforting one. The planet has never depended on any one event, any one change, or any one moment of attention. It has always moved forward by allowing time to do what it does best, unfold slowly and without pressure. Everything that now feels solid and familiar exists because it was given space to arrive gently. Stone cooled when it was ready. Water settled where it could remain. Air learned how to circulate without escaping. Life emerged not because it was demanded, but because the conditions were patient enough to allow it. Nothing was rushed into being. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. This closing part does not need to be followed closely. Earth itself does not reflect on its own history. It carries it quietly, woven into the layers beneath the surface and the cycles that continue above it. The ground beneath you is not just a place, but a continuation. Every grain of soil, every layer of rock, every movement of water carries the memory of having been allowed to change slowly. That memory is not stored as information, but as steadiness. It is why the Earth feels dependable even though it is always changing. You don't need to imagine deep time clearly. You don't need to picture the beginning or the future. Those ideas can soften and fade. What matters is the sense of being held by something that has practiced patience longer than anything else we know. Even now, as you rest, Earth continues its quiet work. Heat moves gently beneath the surface. Water circulates between sea and sky. Air flows in broad, unhurried patterns. Life continues to interact with stone, water, and air without awareness of the vast story it belongs to. Nothing feels strained. Nothing feels urgent. There is reassurance in knowing that you are resting within a system that does not hurry. The planet does not ask you to keep up. It does not require attention. It does not need effort. It simply continues, offering stability through repetition and calm through continuity. As this sense of Earth's long story settles in, there is nothing left to follow. The narrative doesn't need an ending. It doesn't arrive at a conclusion. It simply continues beyond awareness, beyond memory, beyond wakefulness. You can allow the words to become background sound. You can allow thoughts to loosen their grip. Earth will continue whether you listen or not, just as it always has. And as the planet rests within its own long becoming, you are free to rest as well, supported by a world that has never needed to rush and never will. Even after following Earth through such long, quiet spans of change, it can be calming to return to something simple. The same planet that gathered itself slowly, cooled gently, welcomed water, and learned balance is still here tonight. Not as an idea you need to hold, but as a steady presence beneath everything you do and beneath everything you release. Nothing about Earth requires your attention in order to remain steady. It does not ask you to understand its deep time. It does not ask you to picture its layers, its cycles, or its motion. It continues whether you are thinking clearly, thinking softly, or not thinking at all. And there is comfort in that kind of reliability. If your attention drifts, that's perfectly fine. Drifting is part of rest, and the Earth has always been a place where drifting is allowed. Rivers drift through valleys, clouds drift across sky, continents drift through time. Even warmth drifts upward from deep stone, slowly, patiently, without needing to be noticed. When we think of Earth in the daytime, we often think of activity, movement, noise, plans, but the deeper Earth has never been hurried by any of that. Beneath the surface, the rhythms remain slow and steady. Stone holds pressure quietly. Water waits in dark spaces underground. Heat travels at a pace that feels almost like stillness. The planet continues in its own calm, regardless of what happens above. You don't need to imagine anything dramatic. You can let the imagery soften. A dark horizon, a quiet field, the faint sense of distance where land meets sky. These simple impressions are enough. They match the pace of the story more closely than sharp pictures ever could. Earth has always been a home for slow processes, cooling, settling, circulating, returning. Even the air around you is part of that slow continuity, moving in broad patterns, spreading warmth gently, carrying moisture patiently, never needing to arrive anywhere quickly. Sometimes it helps to notice how stable change can be when it moves slowly enough. Earth is changing tonight, just as it always has. But that change is not alarming. It is small, contained, and balanced by other movements that respond quietly. Nothing is breaking. Nothing is collapsing. The system is doing what it has practiced for an unimaginably long time. And because Earth can change while remaining safe, you can do the same. Your body can loosen while still being supported. Your thoughts can shift while still being held. Your breathing can slow without needing permission. You can release effort because the world beneath you is not fragile. If it feels right, you can let your awareness rest on the idea of weight. Not heavy, not pressing, just present. Your body resting into the support beneath it. The bed, the floor, the ground, the layers of stone below. All of it steady. All of it already doing its quiet work without you. Earth does not demand a conclusion. It does not need the story to end. It simply continues in the same calm direction it has always moved. And you can let that be enough. A steady world, a gentle night, a slow rhythm that holds you whether you listen closely or drift far away. Even now, long after the Earth has taken on the forms we recognize, its deepest rhythms continue without interruption. These rhythms are not hidden or distant. They are present in simple, familiar patterns that repeat quietly around and within us. Night follows day. Warmth follows light. Rest follows activity. None of these cycles announce themselves. They simply return again and again. The planet still moves through cycles of water, air, and stone, just as it always has. Rain rises invisibly from oceans and lakes, gathers softly in the sky, and returns without urgency. Rivers follow paths shaped long before memory, carrying what they need to carry, leaving what they need to leave. Nothing in these movements demands attention. They work best when they are allowed to remain in the background. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. These cycles do not require observation to continue. Earth has never depended on awareness to maintain its rhythm. The repetition itself is what creates stability. Seasonal changes still pass slowly over land and sea. Temperatures shift within ranges that life has learned to expect. Plants respond by growing, resting, or releasing seeds. Animals adjust their movement and behavior quietly, guided by signals that feel natural rather than urgent. These patterns are not new. They are echoes of the same balancing processes that have guided the planet for immense spans of time. You don't need to imagine complexity. You can let the idea remain simple. Cycles continue because they always have. They are not instructions. They are habits, practiced so long they feel effortless. Even your own body moves within these same rhythms. Breathing deepens and softens. Heartbeats slow during rest. Warmth shifts gently through muscles and skin. These internal cycles mirror the planet's larger ones, not because they are controlled by Earth, but because they emerged within the same patient environment. There is reassurance in knowing that you are not separate from these patterns. You live inside them. You rest inside them. They hold you even when you are unaware of them. Nothing needs to be forced into alignment. Your body already knows how to follow these quiet cues. Earth does not accelerate these cycles. It allows them to repeat at a pace that remains gentle. Even change is softened by repetition. Extremes are moderated. Variations are absorbed. The system remains steady because it never tries to move faster than it can respond. As you rest, these quiet cycles continue around you and within you. Air moves in slow currents. Water shifts gradually. Heat redistributes gently. Life adjusts without hurry. None of this requires effort from you. You can allow your thoughts to loosen further here. The cycles do not need to be named or understood. They simply continue, providing a sense of order without pressure. And as you remain within them, held by their calm repetition, there is nothing else you need to do. As these quiet cycles continue, it becomes clear that Earth has never relied on effort to remain stable. It does not strain to hold its shape, and it does not resist change when change arrives gently. The planet carries weight, motion, and time without tension, allowing everything to settle where it belongs through patience rather than force. From the deepest layers of stone to the thin movement of air above, there is a shared quality of ease. Pressure is distributed slowly. Heat moves along paths that have been used countless times before. Water finds its way through soil and rock without needing direction. Each element responds to the others in ways that feel almost instinctive, as though the planet learned long ago how to support itself quietly. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. This part of the story does not depend on focus. Earth itself does not concentrate on holding together. It simply continues to allow gravity, motion, and balance to do what they have always done. Even the weight of continents is held gently. Stone rests upon stone, layer upon layer, supported not by resistance, but by distribution. Nothing presses too hard in one place. Nothing collapses under its own presence. The planet understands how to carry itself without strain. You don't need to imagine dramatic depth or pressure. Those images can soften and fade. What matters is the feeling of being held by something that does not tire. A world that supports oceans, mountains, forests, and life without needing to pause or recover. This quality of effortless support extends into every familiar place. The ground beneath cities, fields, and forests holds steady through nights and days alike. It absorbs footsteps, weight, and movement without complaint. It has done this for longer than memory, and it will continue without needing attention. There is reassurance in knowing that stability does not come from effort. It comes from allowing forces to balance naturally over time. Earth does not tighten around its own structure. It relaxes into it again and again, trusting the slow processes that shaped it. Even now, as you rest, the planet holds you in this same way. The surface beneath you carries weight without resistance. The air around you supports breathing without demand. Gravity remains constant, reliable, unchanged by awareness or intention. You can let this sense of support deepen. Nothing needs to be held tightly. Nothing needs to be managed. Earth has already taken care of that work. It has practiced holding itself for billions of years, quietly refining the art of stability. As this understanding settles in, there is no need to stay alert. You are resting within a world that knows how to carry everything it contains without effort. And in that quiet reliability, you are free to release what you've been holding, knowing the planet beneath you continues, steady and unstrained, whether you are awake or drifting gently into sleep. As the Earth continues to hold itself with quiet ease, there is another quality that becomes clear over long time. Nothing truly needs to begin again. Processes do not reset. They return. Cycles loop back softly, not to repeat in exactly the same way, but to continue from where they already are. The planet does not start over. It carries forward. This returning is gentle. Water that once fell as rain may travel through rivers, settle in oceans, rise again into the air, and return as rain somewhere else, changed only by distance and time. Stone that once formed deep below may rise slowly, wear down, and become part of soil, only to be buried again and transformed once more. Nothing is lost. Everything finds another place to continue. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. These returns do not depend on being followed. Earth does not pause to mark transitions. It moves forward by circling back, allowing familiar processes to revisit themselves without pressure. There is comfort in knowing that the planet does not require fresh starts. It does not abandon what has already happened. Instead, it builds upon it gently. Each cycle carries the quiet memory of those before it, not as information, but as structure. This is why the Earth feels consistent even as it changes. You don't need to imagine perfect loops or closed circles. The returns are not exact. Each pass through a cycle adjusts slightly, responding to new conditions, redistributing energy, smoothing imbalances. What matters is that nothing needs to rush toward a conclusion. Everything has room to come back around. Even life follows this pattern. Growth gives way to rest. Rest gives way to renewal. Materials move from living forms back into soil, water, and air, where they become available again. There is no urgency in this exchange. Time allows each stage to finish before another begins. There is reassurance in this continuity. Earth does not hurry to replace what changes. It allows transformation to complete itself fully. This patience is what prevents collapse. The planet does not demand immediate outcomes. It trusts the slow return of balance. Even now, as you rest, countless small returns are happening quietly. Heat moves from warmer places to cooler ones. Air circulates back upon itself. Water settles, rises, and settles again. These motions do not require correction. They have been practiced for longer than awareness. You can allow this idea to soften into the background. Nothing in your own experience needs to be restarted tonight. Thoughts can return gently. Breathing can find its rhythm again without instruction. Rest itself is a kind of return, a familiar state the body knows how to reach without effort. Earth continues this way endlessly, not by beginning again, but by allowing everything to come back into balance in its own time. And as this understanding settles in, you can let go of the need to arrive anywhere. The world beneath you is already carrying the process forward, steady and complete. Whether you are awake to notice it or drifting quietly into rest. As Earth continues to return to itself again and again, another quiet truth becomes easier to feel. Calm was never something the planet had to create. It did not need to be invited, earned, or enforced. Calm was always present, woven into the way time moves slowly enough for balance to form. Long before awareness, calm existed simply because nothing was required to hurry. The planet does not wait for the right conditions to settle. It settles by allowing conditions to unfold at their own pace. When change arrives, it is met with time rather than resistance. When pressure builds, it is absorbed gradually. Calm emerges not as an absence of motion, but as motion that is given enough space to soften. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Calm does not depend on being noticed. Earth has never observed itself becoming steady. It has always been steady because it does not rush to correct itself. It allows processes to complete their full arc before moving on. Across the surface, calm appears in ordinary places, in the way shorelines adjust quietly after tides rise and fall, in the way forests grow, thin, and return without leaving emptiness behind, in the way deserts remain stable through long stretches of heat and cold, shaped slowly by wind and time. None of these landscapes are trying to be calm. They simply are. You don't need to imagine silence or stillness. Calm is not the absence of sound or movement. It is the presence of rhythm without strain. Earth moves continuously, yet nothing feels frantic. Even large shifts happen within boundaries that have been shaped by long experience. Deep below the surface, pressure and heat continue their quiet exchange. Nothing demands release before it is ready. Nothing collapses under urgency. The planet understands how to wait. This understanding is older than any living thing. There is reassurance in knowing that calm does not need to be achieved. It does not arrive as a result of effort. It is what remains when time is allowed to do its work. Earth has never needed to pause in order to feel stable. It has always carried calm forward naturally. Even now, as you rest, this same calm surrounds you. It is present in the weight of the ground beneath you, in the steady pull of gravity, in the gentle movement of air. None of it asks for attention. None of it requires participation. You can allow your own sense of effort to soften here. You do not need to hold calm in place. You do not need to maintain it. Calm does not leave when attention drifts. It stays because it is not dependent on awareness. Earth continues to demonstrate this quietly. Through nights and days, through seasons and ages, it carries calm forward without interruption. And as this understanding settles, you can let yourself rest inside it, knowing that calm has never needed permission to exist, and it will continue long after thought fades into sleep. As the quiet calm of Earth continues without interruption, there is another gentle realization that can settle in. The world has always been carrying far more than we ever notice. Not just mountains, oceans, and air, but motion, change, and time itself. It carries all of this without strain, without needing acknowledgement, and without ever asking for assistance. From the very beginning, Earth has held weight patiently. Layers of stone rest upon one another, distributing pressure so evenly that nothing feels forced. Oceans press gently against the seafloor, spreading their mass across vast distances. Air rests upon land and water alike, its weight present yet unnoticed. Everything is supported because the planet understands how to share load rather than concentrate it. If your attention drifts here, that's perfectly fine. Earth doesn't rely on awareness to do this work. Carrying has never required focus. It happens because the conditions allow it to happen slowly enough to remain gentle. Even the movement of time is carried in this way. Days pass into nights. Nights return to days. Seasons layer themselves one upon another without collapsing into confusion. The planet does not rush from one state to the next. It allows transitions to overlap, to soften, to settle before moving forward again. You don't need to imagine effort or endurance. Earth does not brace itself against weight. It yields just enough to hold everything securely. This quiet yielding is what creates stability. Strength is not stiffness. It is flexibility practiced over immense spans of time. There is reassurance in knowing that nothing on Earth is held alone. Every pressure is shared. Every movement is countered gently by another. Heat disperses. Water spreads. Stone supports stone. Balance is maintained not through control, but through cooperation between forces that have learned how to respond to one another calmly. Even now, as you rest, the planet continues this quiet carrying. The ground beneath you supports without effort. Gravity holds you without pulling too hard. The air rests against your skin without pressing. None of this requires intention. None of it depends on your awareness. You can allow yourself to feel lighter here, not because weight disappears, but because it is already being held. You do not need to brace against the world. The world has been practicing how to carry itself and everything upon it for billions of years. As this thought settles, it becomes easier to release what you've been holding. Muscles can soften, breathing can slow, thoughts can loosen their grip. Nothing needs to be supported by you right now. Earth continues to carry the weight of motion, matter, and time without interruption. It does not grow tired. It does not need relief. And as you rest within this steady support, you are free to let the world do what it has always done so well. Hold everything gently, including you, as awareness fades and rest deepens. As the world continues to carry every thought it contains, there is one last gentle understanding that can settle in without effort. Nothing here depends on awareness to continue. Earth does not pause when attention fades. It does not slow when eyes close. The same quiet processes move forward whether they are noticed or not, steady and unchanged by observation. Long after thoughts soften and language dissolves into background sound, the planet continues its calm motion. Heat travels through deep stone at the same unhurried pace it always has. Water circulates patiently between surface and sky. Air moves in wide, gentle currents that never ask where they are going next. The planet does not require direction. It follows paths shaped long ago by time itself. If your attention drifts completely here, that is perfectly fine. This part of the story does not need to be heard in order to exist. Earth has never relied on listening. It has always continued on its own, carrying forward the same slow rhythms that shaped it from the beginning. Even the idea of continuation does not mean movement toward an ending. Earth is not traveling toward a conclusion. It is simply remaining in motion, allowing change and rest to overlap without conflict. There is no final state it must reach. There is only ongoing balance, refined gently as conditions shift. You don't need to imagine the future. Those thoughts can soften and fade. The planet does not anticipate what comes next. It responds when something arrives, and then settles again. This responsiveness is quiet and forgiving. It allows room for variation without ever losing stability. There is reassurance in knowing that the world does not depend on vigilance. Nothing collapses when awareness loosens. Nothing breaks when attention wanders. Earth has been practicing how to continue without interruption for longer than memory itself. Even now, beneath the quiet of this moment, layers of stone support one another patiently. Water rests where it has collected, moving only when it needs to. Air continues its slow exchange of warmth and coolness. Life rests, wakes, and rests again, guided by rhythms older than thought. As you rest, you are not stepping outside this story. You are simply letting go of the need to follow it. The planet doesn't require participation. It holds its course without instruction, without effort, without pause. You can allow the sense of continuity to become background, like a distant, steady sound that does not ask to be identified. Earth continues, calmly and completely, whether words remain clear or dissolve into silence. And as awareness fades, there is nothing missing. The world is still here. The processes are still moving. The balance still holds. You are resting within something that doesn't need you to stay awake in order to remain whole. Earth continues beyond awareness, beyond attention, beyond memory. And you are free to let yourself drift, knowing that everything important continues gently, exactly as it always has. As the words begin to thin and lose their edges, there is no moment where the story truly ends. It simply becomes quieter, like a room after a conversation has gently faded. The earth does not mark this transition. It continues in exactly the same way it always has, steady and unchanged by the presence or absence of sound. Nothing new needs to be introduced here. Everything that matters is already in motion. Stone remains where it rests. Water stays within its slow paths. Air continues its soft circulation. The planet does not notice the silence arriving, because silence has always been part of it. If your attention drifts completely now, that is more than fine. This space was never meant to hold focus. It was meant to allow release. The Earth does not require witnesses, and neither does rest. Awareness can loosen without anything being lost. There is comfort in knowing that nothing else is needed. No understanding needs to be completed. No idea needs to be held together. The world beneath you is not waiting for resolution. It does not move toward conclusions. It simply continues, patient and uninterrupted. The same ground that formed slowly, cooled gently, welcomed water, learned balance, and carried life forward, remains beneath you now. It has not changed its pace. It has not shifted its intention. It is doing what it has always done, allowing time to move without resistance. You don't need to imagine the Earth anymore. You don't need to follow its story. The planet does not depend on being thought about. It does not depend on being remembered. Its steadiness exists whether it is named or not. As thoughts soften further, the rhythm of the world remains. Gravity holds without pulling. Air supports breathing without effort. Warmth stays where it belongs. Nothing presses, nothing asks, nothing interrupts. This is not an ending, it is a continuation without narration. The same calm processes move forward beyond language, beyond awareness, beyond the need to listen. Earth doesn't step into silence. Silence has always been part of Earth. You can allow the last sense of effort to fall away here. There is nothing left to attend to, nothing left to follow, nothing left to keep in place. The world is already holding everything that needs to be held. As sleep arrives, or as rest deepens, the planet continues without pause. It does not notice the shift. It does not require adjustment. Balance remains because it has never depended on wakefulness. And so the words can fade completely now. The quiet does not replace them. It simply reveals what was already there. A steady world, a gentle night. Nothing else is needed.